So we're live. I'm just going to place the link to the live stream on my Twitter account, and yeah, let's. The game has been insane. Um, it's been really fun, and I wanted to share with you guys. Talked about it. I was planning to do my live stream, so let me just post it. Yeah, it's there. So this match literally had everything that we could ask for. We didn't start well. The first half was really difficult to deal with, to watch, and what we did see was a total madness to finish the game. That with Levante getting three penalties and we scoring on the last minute the winning goal coming from Luke De Jong. So yeah, I'm really happy, obviously, with the result. I'm happy that I got a great footballing day today with the the Manchester City Liverpool match, and then this Barcelona match. So obviously we have a lot to talk about, and for those of you who have been following me for quite some time, I thank you. I see that three people are already here. I'm starting this project from scratch. I used to do the live streams and the videos and whatnot on my personal YouTube channel, and I can't just change the name over there because it's my personal professional email that's linked to it. So I decided to start this Cruyffcast return from scratch. So there are not many followers here. I deleted my previous YouTube account that sorry, my Twitter account that had around 3,000 to 4,000 followers. So I'm really beginning anew. My Twitter account just has like 300 people right now following me. This channel is starting with 8 followers, so I thank to the 4 people who are watching. um if you guys want to send questions, if you want to send topics, feel free. And I'm starting all this because not only I have been meaning to do it since January, but my life has really changed this year. I have been unemployed for the past 2 years. Situation here in Brazil is really dire financially, politically, and everything. So I moved. I'm actually 3,000 kilometers away from home. I'm away from my wife. I went back to college to study agroecology, and I'm happy, but it's a bit hard to make money currently. So that's why I'm displaying my PayPal account for anyone who wants to help out this FC Barcelona project. I will have a Patreon page. I just created it, but it needs a processing time. I need to be, they have to let me have the account. So I'm gonna place my PayPal email if any of you wants to make a donation. Situation here in Brazil is so dire that any dollar or euro that come around will help me pay the bills. So I thanks beforehand. But that's enough of it. Let's go into the match. So first of all, it was insane. The ending was great, and the changes that Xavi made first with that Pedri Gavi substitution that in 6 minutes turned the game around. It was really good, but unfortunately, he also made the substitution to put Lenglet in, and he made committed that stupid penalty where the Levante player was actually leaving the area. So there was no justification, no danger to justify the penalty, but it's Lenglet we're talking about. So I'm not surprised. And to sum it all up, this luck that Xavi has, this good, uh, the man is special. When you're at this kind of stuff happens, and they call it the leche, né? In Spanish, this great luck. So Luke De Jong comes. We know how limited he is, and then he scores this perfect header. You cannot defend those on with 1 minute to go and win the match. It's really something, because I will get into the first half and what I saw tactically. We're going into all that, but I think it's really telling that after the 4-0 trashing at the Bernabeu, that not only did Real Madrid get 3 penalties to help them um, win on that. I think it was the Betis match. I don't recall now. And then we get 3 penalties against us, and we hadn't got a single penalty against us in this Liga season. And Ter Stegen was huge today. He saved that, great Morales move that he dribbled past everyone, and he, made the crazy agile save where he used his feet and then his hand, and then Eric Garcia was able to make the line clearance. And the penalties were, most of them were bullshit, right? Apart from the Lenglet one, because the Alves one, it was a bit dumb from Alves, from given his experience, but definitely the Eric Garcia one, you cannot. I mean, when it comes to handball, it has to have the will. You have to have the intention. And Eric Garcia, it wasn't the case. He didn't have the intention. There was no movement from him to justify the penalty being given. So I can't. It's just the kind of stuff that happens against FC Barcelona. So to see all that happening, to see especially how heavy, how not precise, how things were not going well in the first half, it was a really great way to put pressure on Real Madrid, actually, because they will most likely be on the semifinals of the Champions League. So they will have a harder calendar ahead of the until the end of the season. They currently are you know 12 points ahead. Now it's dropped to 9, but when we play our remaining match against Rayo Vallecano, we'll be able to close the distance, and they have the crucial match against Sevilla. If they lose that match, well, we're going to put pressure on them until the last second. So I think it was really good, in terms of energy, in terms of, seeing this team who is being reborn due to all the horrible choices that one Laporta did by keeping Koeman, by not bringing Xavi sooner, and because basically, if we don't win La Liga this season, which would be a miracle, obviously, because it's Real Madrid to lose. We have to win every single match, and we know how hard it is, given that teams always like to play extra focused, extra hard when it comes to Barcelona. We saw it today. Um, in Levante's case, there's always this moment when teams are fighting against relegation. They're fighting, for better placement in the, in the overall table. So it's really, really hard to win all these final matches, and we are still able to dream about it, and that's the beauty of it. So I know this week has been a little bit trying, because Xavi has been going on this ascendance that, he reached his peak with the thrashing at the Bernabeu, the 4-0. And then came the Frankfurt match. Eintracht Frankfurt in the middle of the week. And now this Levante match, where obviously there are a few things, a few flaws there are visible, but the main thing is that this team is really, really reliant on Pedri's talent, even though he is 19 years old. His ability to be the link between the defense and Busquets and the attack, it's evident. We cannot really compete. We cannot really expect to uh, reach a bigger placement where we are right now in terms of advancement the team, in terms of winning titles next season or on this season without Pedri. So his influence, his talent, the ability he has to let me see. Yeah, yeah, ready. I have a lot of issues. As I said in the beginning of the live stream, I have to leave my hometown. I have to um I'm obviously together with my wife, but we're living like 3,000 kilometers apart. Since the situation here in Brazil is really hard, I had to go after new opportunities. So that's why I'm doing here. I'm in the state of Pernambuco. I'm 100 steps from the Atlantic Ocean right now. I used to live in the uh, Midwestern Brazil, and yeah, it took me a long time. I moved, I started university, but I think it was enough time for the chavineta to take off. So I think things are happening as they should, and I think it was a great sign that today before the match I said, hey, I'm returning to live streaming today, and the match had everything, every single emotion, every single thing that we could talk about. So I'm happy, and thank you for your support. um so yeah, talking about Pedri and what he has been doing, importance that he has on the team, it's really self-evident. And the first half, I think the Frankfurt match, I won't go deep into it today, but there it had to do more with a team that was really intense, with the pressure of the home crowd that was insane. The atmosphere over there was really, really something. And it's the kind of thing that for anyone who loves football, it's great to watch. But you could say that the movement that you expect the proximity, the positional play, the juego de posición between our midfield and our attack, it's not as fluid. It doesn't have the variety of options to keep flowing when we are being pressed, when the midfield is being man marked, when people are using high energy. I think it was really self-evident because, for example, I Aubameyang has been superb. The amount of goals he's scoring important goals. But it's pretty evident that he doesn't link, he's not moving away from the area, he's not exchanging passes, he's not helping in making that last line of defense, in making the CBs move so there's an opening where the pass can happen, you know. um it's something that is really evident on his style of play, but it's something that it's a flaw that is important. It's a flaw that makes things harder. And I think on the Frankfurt match, and especially on the first half today at Levante, it was really obvious that it's something that makes things harder, even though when it comes to finishing, as and he did score today against Levante, the man has been superb for us. It's just a little something that, paired with this new way that we go about attacking from the wings, where Alba is not the main focus anymore. He's a bit coming from the middle. When you don't have this kind of movement coming from the nine, the forward, it makes things harder overall. And I think that's beginning from the attack. I think it's the first one. The Dembele Alves connection doesn't exist. I think the Levante match showed this really clearly, that they obviously, it took me 15, 16 minutes, but here comes the messy talk. Obviously, we saw this Alves Messi connection. It was superb. It was historic. It did everything. So uh, Dembele is improving. He is at his best with the Barcelona shirt. He is defending. He's pressing. He's creating. Um, but obviously, there's room for improvement. There always will be. And I think this connection with Alves on the right side today, especially when we were with this midfield that really wasn't very fluid. Pedri's absence was really noticeable. And Nico, I think Nico didn't have a good match, and it has to do, I think maybe he won't be able to perform this role. I don't think he's going to be able to play these clues. Hey, buddy, thank you. It's the 1974 one, when the Franco regime, they intervened in the club. So you see that it's Club de Futbol Barcelona, is not Football Club in Catalan. So I really like this shirt. I usually do my live streams with it, and today I was, really happy after the Luke goal, and went to grab the ring light, and it was there, and I said, yeah, it's meant to be. So thank you. I really like this shirt. It's been really important in the previous live streams that I've done. But coming back to it, I think Nico, maybe he won't. His future at FC Barcelona is playing in Busquets' position or playing next to Busquets. I think he's a tall fella, but he isn't that muscular. He isn't that strong. I think there has to be a separation between seeing a tall dude like him and thinking that he is, strong and able to fight for every ball. So I think these two um, uh, scenarios that I brought about the lack of movement coming from Aubameyang, this lack of connection between Alves and Dembele, and the fact that we have a midfield where Nico was in a position that really doesn't suit him, because we know he is a box-to-box player, that he has a lot of energy, that he's a young guy. He has a great career ahead of him. But I think to expect him to be able to combine and be creative up front, I don't think it's going to suit him, and I think that's why he really suffered today. And I think in the back, Alves really suffered today, to be honest. Not only because he had this little scare about his ankle when he went to make that pass. He fell in a weird manner, and but overall, I don't think Alves had a good match. If you look on that great Morales moment, Alves was just like backtracking, and that's why Araujo had to intervene, and he wasn't really successful. And that's how, because in the end, Morales didn't pull a great dribbling sequence to be in front of Ter Stegen. That's the truth. So if you watch the play from the beginning, you see that Alves backtracking didn't help. That forced Araujo to try to take the ball really fast. Didn't work, and Ter Stegen pulled a huge save, and Eric Garcia made the clearing. So I think obviously you guys don't need to agree with me if you have a different opinion about the first half. If you have a different topic to bring about, put it in the comments. We talk about it together. So yeah, I really saw these structural flaws about the first half, and because in the end of it, Levante wasn't doing anything really special. They were pressing regularly. They were doing man marking, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's literally the worst defense in La Liga. That's a team that's only won like 4 matches, and I know these teams usually shine brighter when they're facing Barcelona, especially at the away matches and at their home fields. But I gotta say, it wasn't. It had more to do with our structure not working, with this sequence of details that I brought about, especially the Alves thing, the Nico, and the lack of movement up front, and and when the things, Eric Garcia is a monster. I really don't know why people don't like him. I really don't know why people are so harsh with Eric Garcia. I really like him. I think he is the future of our defense. I hope he stays here for 15 years. The dude is really intelligent. He is a great left-footed CB. He knows how to pass, because let's be honest, Piqué is retired soon. Piqué won't be here for 3 seasons. It's 1, 2 at the most. And maybe he may even retire at the end of this season, because FC Barcelona's Twitter page was posting, things about his history when it came to renewing Araujo, which will be done in the next few days, by the way. So to have a CB duo as young and as potent as Eric Garcia and Araujo, they complement each other really well, because Eric Garcia has the vision, he has the pass, he has the speed, he has the verve. The man is a fighter. So today, um, he wasn't one of the best over who played the 90 minutes. He was the best player out of the FC Barcelona players who played the. Oh, you have Ter Stegen, obviously. So him and Ter Stegen, they're up there, because without Ter Stegen today, would be 3-0 down with 55 in the 55th minute. So to sum it up, I really love Eric Garcia. I don't know why people were extra harsh with him. I think it comes from the entorno, from the mundo deportivo, sport people, because he came from free from Manchester City, and everything that has to do with Guardiola for these people is an offense. So I'm really putting into that because uh, I don't think even Lenglet was as attacked and as really looked with such uh, a level of the demand that we haven't seen from many CBs, MTT and all the other. Man, you made me remind of the smoking bitch from Valencia, man. Man, don't. Whoa, the Bartomeu years, they really got me. Man. I can't. It's too much. But Eric Garcia was great. I loved him. He was really one of the best who played the 90 minutes today. And yeah, I think to sum up the first half, we really have to see that the planning didn't help Nico. The midfield wasn't fluid because of the profile of the players who were there, and especially because of the lack of movement of the players up front. So let's go to the second half. First of all, I would really like to thank the 9 people who are watching. If you guys are able to share on your Twitter pages, to let people know that I'm here, that I'm back, that I will be live streaming after every single FC Barcelona match from now on, I would be really thankful. And yeah, second half. um, I think Xavi, obviously, he ate this the players out in the second half. I mean, he really have must have been really frustrated because we know how high energy he is and how demanding he is because he is the best midfielder that the Xavi Iniesta debate will always go on, but I think only because Iniesta suffered more from injuries, he had a more bad luck than Xavi did. I think that's why Xavi edges it. But to me, Xavi is the best Spanish midfielder of all time. So he won everything multiple times. You know how obsessive he is about juego de posición, about Barcelona, about La Masia, and he's really honest. So I think he did his guy this guy's real you know pulling the year in the second half, and I really like that he didn't make changes from the bat because when you make changes during the halftime, sometimes they're considered offensive to the players. You know, when unless there's some sort of injury or we are losing like by a wide goal margin. Usually, you give the starting players the first 60 minutes to say, "Hey, you had an hour, it didn't work, so I'm gonna change things." So I like that there is this respect. Other coaches do it as well. I think Guardiola did the same earlier today and the big match against Liverpool, which was marvelous match. If you didn't watch it, go download it and watch it because it was really good. And when he made the changes, when he put Gavi and Pedri on, there was a different attitude from us. We were better, but then came the the referee and the crazy penalties. As I said in the beginning of the live stream, I think the Alves penalty it was a bit harsh, but from a 38-year-old player, I expected more. The Eric Garcia penalty didn't happen. It's not how the rule works. And the Lenglet penalty was a Lenglet move. It didn't make any sense. So we were losing 1-0 with the Morales goal, the penalty, and I think Ter Stegen pulled the second save. Yeah, Ter Stegen pulled the second save in the 55th minute, which means that 4 minutes after Ter Stegen saved us for the second time, Xavi put Pedri and Gavi on, and in 6 minutes we turned the game around because um, the connections up front, between the players. And I'm talking especially about Dembele and Aubameyang. Aubameyang. I'm eating up a few letters here. I think the connection between Dembele and Alba, it's really evident. They see each other. They know, especially in Dembele's case, who's giving assists to everyone. He knows where to pass it. He knows where he's going to, Alba is expected to be. But the difference is when you have a player like Pedri who's able to move between the lines, who's able to make those little passes to integrate the whole thing, which allows Busquets to play closer to the defending team's area. When you have the more options of passing, it's more feasible to expect that there will be a moment when, like the first goal, the Alba goal, when the movement of the ball will be as such that Dembele got the ball, he immediately made the cross, and Alba was there to finish it. Obviously, a cross is never super reliable because the CB, one of their CBs, could have, won the ball and everything, but it didn't. But what it's clear, it's evident, is that when you have someone like Pedri, which obviously pulls a bit of the CDMs, a bit of the other defenders to the out of the area, it allows more space for the cross, for the finishing, and that's how we equalized. And then the second goal was just great to watch because we had Gavi on one of those crazy Gavi moves because Gavi is a child. Gavi is 17-year-old. So, but he is really tough. He doesn't give up easily. He, really goes for it with all his verve. So he made that play on the right wing, and then he laid it to Pedri, and Pedri is growing on confidence. Pedri is beginning to realize how great of a player he is, how reliant on him this team is and will be, and when you have that extra special thing, the ball just goes in. I mean, it's just beautiful, man. It's magic. It's different. It's different. And I know we got really used to having Messi, who pulled this his life, his magic. He pulls it all the time. But to be able to count on a player who is 19 years old, to be able to pull it with the confidence that Pedri has been pulling, it's amazing. It's amazing. It was a great feeling for seeing him score the second one. Um, and then pretty much we didn't we didn't keep creating chances after the second, after we were ahead. We didn't plaster them. We weren't like, let's score 2 3 goals. And I think it has to do with the fact that Alba was beginning to get tired, because when you keep stuck moving between the center backs and the CDMs, and you don't get the ball when you are not integrated in the play, you get tired more easily. You get more frustrated. You lose stamina. Ferran Torres today, I don't think it was a really good, a particularly good match from him. Obviously, he always moves around. He's a really he reminds me of Pedro in this regard. That he keeps moving. He is always, cooking up something. The dude has all the energy in the world, but that even with Gavi and especially Pedro's presence, he didn't show up in the second half, and then we had the Lenglet moment, which is really depressing, because I think uh, when you have a player that sums up so well the nightmares that we have been living through in the last 8 7 years. I think Lenglet is one of those characters. I think, like, when I think of the worst of the Bartomeu era, when I think about the defeat at Liverpool, at Roma, at you know about it. We know what I'm talking about. I think Lenglet, Vidal, Paulinho, Song, Arda Turan, Griezmann, all this, Coutinho. I think he's one of the faces of it, you know. And yeah, Reddy, we pay the Lenglet tax. It's it's a player that can't stay here. He can't remain here. He has to go. We still have a little bit of house cleaning to do. Memphis is obviously leaving in the end of the season. He didn't. He wasn't in Valencia today because he arrived late, and I mean, in the first matches under Koeman, he was important because when you have a mess like that in the beginning of the season with no Messi, with Koeman staying, and poor football, when you have a baller, someone um, who know how to play football, the guy is gonna help. But when you need something a little more developed, when you need something that demands a bigger commitment, that demands more energy, is the kind of player who doesn't show up. Because let's be honest, if Memphis wanted to, he could be really huge with Xavi, playing as a false nine, playing as someone who's up there, who's moving, who's receiving the ball, who's creating, who is passing, who is shooting from distance. But he doesn't want it. It's a choice. And he's choosing to leave. And I think it's going to be good for us. Maybe able to sell him to get like 30, 35, 40 million. I don't know. But obviously, it's a relationship. It's something that doesn't have a future, won't have a future. And on this week, especially, a week that we had this hard match in Germany and then this crazy match in Valencia, to have a player who he's a famous player. He's a player who can do a lot of things, as I just said, and he didn't get into the plane. I think it's just disrespectful. I mean, it's just disrespectful. And players like him and Lenglet and all the other guys that we know have to leave, they have to leave. Because today we could have ended our really slim chances of winning La Liga, or at least playing for it until the last match. So, because of all the penalties, because the Alves penalty was clumsy. Uh, Alves was probably playing while feeling pain, you know, after his ankle problem. Um, it's a kind of thing that some referees would not have given that first penalty, you know. But the Lenglet penalty is just stupid. It's childish. It's amateurish. Valencia's attacker was leaving the area. He was moving away from the area. So you just wait. And he didn't. So if not for, Luke, if not for Luke de Jong, if not for Alba's cross, um, this live stream and especially our chances in La Liga, they would be over. Because a draw today would make La Liga virtually impossible to win. That's the reality of it. So I think it's really obviously I'm really happy for the team, for us as fans. I'm happy for Xavi. I'm happy because when we receive Frankfurt in a few days, the mindset will be much much clearer in the ways of seeing the flaws that we have, because there will always be flaws in our teams. There always will be. Don't forget that when we won the second treble, the treble that doomed us, that put Bartomeu in power for so many years, that we only reached that final against Juventus because Ter Stegen was superb in Germany, because Pep crushed us. Pep's followed us. And we had Suarez, Neymar, and Messi at the peak. They began a riot, but Bayern in the second half, whew, if not for Ter Stegen, we wouldn't have been in the final. So we have to be honest about it. There will always be problems, and we have to be, honest about it. Amber asks, Lucas, hope you're fine. I am, man. Oh, you the same to you. How can you see Barca doing next season? In which areas you think the club should put effort to enhance? Any changes to improve the CL journey next season? Thanks for the question, Amar. I hope you're well. Look, we are winning La Liga next season. Okay? It's done. We will win La Liga next season. It doesn't matter if Mbappe comes to Madrid, which apparently it's not as clear. Maybe he will renew with PSG for just 2 more years because of the World Cup and whatnot. But with Carlo Ancelotti ahead of Real Madrid and Xavi ahead of Barcelona, we will win La Liga next season. That's done. We don't need big signings. If they come, perfect. But with the current squad, and especially with Xavi's brains, with Xavi's determination, his game plan, and what he's doing with the mentality of the team, La Liga is ours. If you have been following me for some time, I don't really care about the Copa del Rey. I think it should only be used to experiment with the younger players. For example, Ferran Jutgla, who is scoring like crazy at Barcelona B. It's the kind of matches that he should be playing, you know. And all other guys from Barcelona B, and the younger kids should have a ball, because in the end, with this amount of matches that is demanded between La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League, and the smaller trophies that go on in the beginning of the season, the Copa del Rey is just a hassle. It's just a hassle, and it never saves a season because we're Barcelona. We are one of the biggest club in the world. Winning the cup means nothing. It's a nothing season. It saves no one. We only had this, you know, this propaganda that, oh, it was a decent season. We fought for La Liga, and oh, we got crushed in the Champions League again, but we won the cup. That's a Nuñista talk, man. That's the 80s talking, the 70s talking. This isn't our reality. Our success in a given season is determined by La Liga and Champions League. The Copa del Rey is the crispy on top. It's the extra. It's dessert. If it comes, great. But if it comes, may it comes by using the young players. And yeah, but and now I'm gonna answer the rest of your question. In which areas you think the club should put effort to enhance? I think we need a left backup. We can't rely on Alba because it's not a dig at him. It's just because he's getting older and he will need more time to recover. Maybe he'll get injured, and if he does get injured, he will need more time to recover from the injury. So we need someone to be. We can't make the same mistake that we made with Suarez. Okay, because Suarez was the best number 9 that this club had in this 123-year history, and he was treated like shit. People were more harsh with Suarez than they were with Bartomeu and the coaches that were fucking us up, because due to the lack of motivation, lack of planning, and there wasn't anyone to compete with him coming from the bench, a young player or a younger signing, to keep that thing going. People were just going, oh, he doesn't score in the Champions League for I don't know how many years. Dude, come on. Suarez was immense for us. Suarez won Ligas for us by himself. 2016, that was him. And we have always to keep that in mind, that we have great players, we have special players, but there must be some sort of competition when they're getting older. Otherwise, you're going to have a Suarez scenario again. And what they did, they gifted him to Atletico Madrid and he won the fucking Liga because that's what he does. Man is huge. So, left back. I like Serginho Dest, and I don't think they're going to get the right back from Ajax. He's going to Bayern, so I would keep him. I think Alves came to spend 1 or 2 seasons. I don't think he will be able to be reliable for more than that. And regarding the midfield, I don't know if they're gonna bring, make signings from the midfield. I don't see it happening. I think they're gonna, manage from what they have, but obviously it's impossible to find in the market. But if you can find anyone to be a backup for Busquets, which is a unique kind of player. Another player that was canceled by the Barcelona fan base just as Suarez was. And then when the system starts working again, he shows, I have always been here. I am motherfucking Sergio Busquets. I own this shit. But when you put me away from, the combining passes and being able to create and be able to help people up front, when you put me to run I don't know how many meters to defend, of course it's going to be a failure. This is not how this player was created. This is not how this player became the great player that he is. So a backup for him would be nice. Um, and obviously, we have the big thing that we need a nine. We need someone up front. Um, in an ideal world, we would be getting Mbappe, but I don't think it's possible. It's feasible. I think it's over. Um, if with the Spotify money and whatever else happens, the departures and the CVC deal and whatnot, if we get Erling Haaland, I think it would be great. I don't think he is as well-rounded and versatile as Mbappe is, but the dude scores, and I know he's been a little of a goal drought right now. But it's we are reaching the end of the season. He's not competing for titles. There were lots of international matches recently, so these players get tired. So I think he's still a great player, but I have hatred towards Laporta nowadays because he acted with treachery against Messi. He promised Messi would be renewed. He knew he couldn't renew him. When it came down to it, he promised, he made everyone believe that Messi was going to renew, and then he came with the warning that he wouldn't be. And he didn't ask Messi to play for free or to even lower further his salary. He was nonchalantly saying, "Oh, we're just not going to have Messi for the last 2 seasons of his life." And he did it. He knew all about it. And he did it just when it wasn't possible for Manchester City to get him. Because if you were honest with Messi, if he had been fair with Messi, he won from to him and his father as soon as he knew, because he took power in March. By April, May at best, he would have known that the financial situation would not allow them to renew him. And then he would, you can go to Manchester City, which obviously where he wanted to go, not this bullshit Pochettino team playing that farm league, bullshit French league. But I had to put this little rant out. But I agree with Laporta when he says that paying like 50 million euros to Haaland's entourage, his father, agent, whatever the fuck. We can't do it right now. We just can't. It's not possible to do it. So if that's the only way we'd be getting such a player, then bye. We can't. It's not feasible. So there's that Uruguayan attacker, Damian. I don't know who plays in Lisbon, right? The Portuguese team, Benfica. I'm not following what he does, but we need a nine because, as I said, from the duration of this live stream, Alba is great. He is scoring the goals, but a different profile would be better. And when you have someone, this updated version of Pedro, which is Ferran Torres, um, I think you owe yourself to have someone who's more combinative, who's going to be a bit of more help in midfield that Alba currently is. Ready, I will answer your question. Just gonna put it here on the screen about Busquets, just to finish here with Amer's question. So, now that I talked a little bit about the squad, the players for next season, the Champions League journey. Look, it's the one competition that I think Barcelona fans have really been humbled time and time again in advancing degrees of shame and humiliation, it's about the Champions League. With how Xavi is playing, if we get someone like Haaland, and we get some nice backups, and we are able to keep it up, everything says that we'll be able to complete for the Champions League. But I don't think this utterance can ever be certain, because not even the best coach in the world, with one of the best squads in the world, won the Champions League final last year, because that was a disaster class from Pep Guardiola. I love the man. I learned 2 languages because of him. I have his book in Catalan, which is really rare to find. My wife found it for me. But he didn't play well at all against Chelsea in the final. Uh, he got in his head, and it showed. So I think it's impossible to tell. I think it's impossible to try to say, oh, these and these players would be the key for us to winning. It doesn't work like that. But what I can tell you is this: our club can only compete. I'm not saying winning, I'm saying compete. Can only compete in the Champions League when we are at the peak of our powers. Huh? When we are playing superbly, when we are dominating, when we are winning La Liga. We have never won a Champions League without also being the Liga champion. And I do believe we're winning La Liga next season, but I don't know how the squad composition is going to be, how well the rotation is going to work, to be able to know what's going to happen in the Champions League. Because the kind of matches that we had against Frankfurt this week is the kind of matches that Guardiola used to have with the best football team that the history of the sport has ever seen. When he went to away matches in the Champions League, it was always difficult, always difficult. And it comes to squad depth, it comes to a clear, defined plan in terms of tactics, methodology. It's really impossible to make this to see it clearly. But what I can tell you is this: with Xavi and a sporting planning regarding signings, especially regarding sales, that makes sense, I think we will compete. I don't know if it will be enough for us to reach the semifinals, because since that the Liverpool semifinals, that was my biggest that was my first divorce from FC Barcelona, because the result in Liverpool was like 5 days before my wedding. I was like crazy getting things ready for the ceremony, the party, and I stopped with acquaintances, not even friends. I can't call them friends, to watch the Camp Nou match. And that messy goal, that free kick, I ripped my shirt off in the middle of an Outback steakhouse, like fuck it. I was just. But when Dembele didn't score the fourth one, I knew something was up. And Ernesto Valverde. And I couldn't follow as closely after that. And I think for us, after everything we went through, if we reach the semifinals next season and are able to compete well and maybe not reach the final, but people are saying, yeah, Barcelona are back as the one of the top 4 teams in Europe. I think it's awesome. But obviously, if you reach the final, if you're able to win it, obviously I'll be screaming my lungs out alongside every single one of you. It's just that it is the hardest competition in the world, harder than the World Cup. Because the World Cup, history has taught us that so and so team, so and so country will be able to win it, given the generation of players they have. You know, I have, for those who have followed me for a bit longer, I have brought it to you. Pelé only has 3 World Cup trophies because when he was 17 years old, he had Didi, he have superb players from the 50s in Brazil who carried it for him. Doesn't matter if he scored goals in the final, in the semifinal. He was 17 years old. Come on, fuck you. He wasn't the star of the team. In 62, he was injured. Garrincha won that World Cup. In 1970, he was 30 years old, and he had the best national team to ever exist in the history of the sport, which is Brazil 1970 in Mexico. So, obviously, he had a great World Cup, but you had everyone around you. The right back was a monster. The CBs, the attackers, everyone was superb. Obviously, you're going to win it. And Maradona in 86 shows us that you may be the best player in the world, definitely the best player of the 80s. But if you don't have a Burochaga, if you don't have someone to put it in, you're not going to win it. That's what Messi lacked. Messi had to play the World Cup final here in Brazil after playing all the matches, all the other previous 6 matches at 1 p.m. in Brazil, which is hot as fuck, which is not meant to be played football. You can't do it. He played 6 matches after having recovered from the worst injury in his career. And he reached the final, and Di Maria and Agüero weren't there. What Pipita and, you can't win. It's impossible. It can't be done. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter if your defense has been working. Argentina in 2014 weren't they weren't behind in the whole competition. They only were behind in the last 7 minutes after Götze scored. So I think the World Cup overall, when you have the right generation of players, is easier to win than the Champions League. Obviously, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, Amer, I think I answered all your questions. I know we are winning La Liga next season, which means that 50% of what we need to be able to compete in the Champions League will be there, which is the excellence needed to reach the semifinals, the finals, and win it. But and I think only a fool would be, even after after the signings come and next season begins, and by March, September, you can't know. Sometimes your one injury kills your chances of the Champions League. Sometimes that's what happens. So yeah, I just hope this team is able to make us proud again, is able to show that Barcelona is not the laughing stock in Europe, because even if we win Europa League this season, next season is when we show that we're back to them. Not this season. The season is purgatorium for us. We are happy, we know things are clicking, we know things are back, but the world will only know for sure. The world will only test us next season. So we'll see. Uh, I'm I'm reading this one. So guys, thank you again for being here. If you have more questions, if you want to bring any topics, I will be finishing this live stream in 20 minutes. But feel free to send more questions. I thank you so much for watching me. I have been away for many months. This project with Cruyffcast should have started long ago, and I always like to interact with you, and we learn from each other as it should be. So, ready? Do you think Busquets will extend his contract or leave at the end of 2023? I don't know. I really don't know. I really hope he extends and he does what we haven't been able to do with anyone of the great Barca team of 2008, 2009, when this whole thing began. And I mean the Guardiola era, and then the second triplete with Luis Enrique and whatnot, which was I was saying earlier. That is, we weren't able to make a transition from one key player, from one unique player to his replacement. I won't say another, because I can't know if the guy who comes to replace Busquets is going to be unique. But in terms of playing the part that is needed on the system, as I said, Suarez was a big. The way we handled Suarez was a complete failure that led to him winning the Liga with Atletico Madrid, when it was obvious that we should have signed someone to compete with him, to learn from him, to be on the bench. And I play 1 hour, you play 30 minutes, or I play 30 minutes, you play 1 hour, and you go while you're getting older until you are the bench player who comes in the second half, or in the last 30 minutes, or you're playing the Copa del Rey matches with the kids. That's how Suarez career should have ended in FC Barcelona. He should have ended as the second biggest goal scorers in this club history, and Messi should have never have left. So what I hope for is that we are able to identify. Maybe it's Nico. Maybe we have to make a signing. But we need to be able to get Busquets to share time, to talk, to teach with his replacement, with the guy who's coming, before he retires or he leaves or whatever the fuck he decides to do. Because we did not do it with anyone. Anyone. We didn't. I think maybe we are doing it right now with Piqué and these younger CBs that we have, Araujo and Eric. Maybe it's happening. I think it is. Come to think of it, but it will be the first, because Valdez left in a really weird fashion. Valdez didn't spend a minute with his replacement, which is Ter Stegen. We never got a replacement for Alves. He came back. Alba has been our left back for a decade now, pretty much. And this is how Real Madrid won their 4 Champions League. We failed miserably in being able to think of replacements to Xavi and Iniesta. Real Madrid got them. Kroos and Modric, 4 Champions League. And Luis Enrique, for 25 million euros, said no to Toni Kroos. So really, I really hope that we are able to keep this trend going. Where I really do think that PK is either leaving at the end of the season or in 2023. And I think when he leaves, he's leaving by saying, "Okay, Araujo and Eric Garcia are my guys. They will be able to do the job for many years, so I can, enjoy Shakira and be cool with it." I hope we get to do the same with Busquets. But he's the type of guy. First of all, he was the one loyal player to Messi during the whole debacle of Messi's, Laporta's treachery and the way Messi left. Busquets was the one guy who was there with him side by side. Busquets is a pearl of a person, of a player. He's unique. So I really hope that he gets to have this transition. He gets to have this, the last years of his career to be, winning, to be happy, to be doing great things like we did today. Even though they were robbing us with penalties and whatnot, it was fun, you know. The style is fun. And because this style not only is fun, but it brings victories, it's awesome. It's marvelous. Being a Barcelona fan is a blast. It's one of the best way to enjoy football. Think about this shit. And but because life is like this, and the great always goes together with the bad, you can't have one without the other. We have the most cancerous, the most diseased, entorno with the powerful people in Barcelona, in Catalonia, and the ridiculous press that keeps us. We are Cruyffism. We are growing. You're winning. You're winning. Oh no! Now that you're here, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say no, no. We need a strong midfield. Bring me Paulinho. Bring me Vidal. Let's play more direct football. Let's do this because we have to compete. You can't be, this dogmatic. We have to be. And then the shame starts again, and we start losing, and then Europa League, and then we start rebuilding. This is this club. This is this club. There will never be 10 years of a Cruyffist dynasty going around. If we didn't have one, with Guardiola, Xavi, Iniesta, and all this perfect generation that we have, we will never have it. The powerful people in Catalonia will never allow it. The media won't allow it. So it's part of it. We need to just to learn how to survive when the bad times come again. And I hope it takes a long time. I hope we have 9 years of Xavi as the head coach, because Cruyff was only able to stick around for 8 years, from 1988 to 96. And that was Cruyff. That was a motherfucker. That guy didn't take shit from anyone. When he was fired, he broke a chair on the fucking Nunez, broke a chair on him, and taking shit on the press the whole time. That's the price of it. We need brave people to be able to take it. And everything that's what makes this club special, man, because the superb, the sublime goes with the toxicity, the trash, the worst. Can't have one without the other, man. Can't have, as the Buddhists say, you can't have the lotus flower without the mud, man. They go together. It's the same thing. So yeah, so guys, if you don't have any more questions, please feel free to send them. I will just sum up this transmission by saying I'm really, really thankful that you guys were here with me. I only announced 1 hour before the match that was doing this live stream. I was even thinking of doing it on Twitch or something like that. I wanted to open my Patreon page, and I did, but I wasn't able to put it in time. So it was a bit hectic, in terms of my return, but I think it goes well with the kind of match that we had today. So thank you so much for supporting me as you always do, for bringing the questions, for being present. I think it was a really fun week because it's when we are honest about the mistakes and the flaws in the system that we are able to imagine that these good times will last longer. Because when we try to come with excuses about our mistakes, when we try to normalize certain behaviors, is how we get to the endless shame that we were living in the last few years. So I know that Xavi will be really demanding, from the players, from the staff, from the squad. From now on, I think these two matches was really a warning call of, yeah, we're doing great, but we need to be careful of some stuff. And the fact that we are live in La Liga, it's killing the Madridistas, man. They are afraid, they are shitting themselves. They know they have the harder calendar. They know they have the Champions League. Yeah. So for us to be able to press, to be breathing on their necks until the last match day, I think it's great news. We opened this possibility today. I hope we have a great match on the Camp Nou against Frankfurt. Yeah, because we had these two lessons to learn from the first Frankfurt match and now the Levante game. I hope that people are well rested. I hope people, are motivated. I'm talking about the players. And I think we're going to have a good time. That's all I have to say. And thank you a lot. If any of you guys are able to, help support this FC Barcelona project, communications project, as I said, I have been unemployed for 2.5 years. I'm away from home. I'm away from my wife. So I'll be live streaming after every single FC Barcelona match from now on. My PayPal is on the screen. Every single dollar or euro that you send helps me a lot to pay my bills over there. And in the next live stream, I'll have my Patreon page up and I'll post it as well. So thank you. Thanks for supporting me, for enjoying this great ride with the Chavineta. I think it's been awesome. So love you. Have a great night.